what can still be known.
Oh my God. That was so wonderful. It's really beautiful. Like the lyrics are just, ugh. Hello, welcome to this video. My name's Dan, aka Luscent. I'm a music producer, singer, songwriter person, and today I'm going to be reacting to HOZIER'S brand new album, Unearth. So let's go. Cool. Okay, so honestly, I know Take Me to Church, and that's it. But I've heard along the grapevine that like HOZIER is an artist that has so much more to offer than that, and that he hasn't really been paid his dues, and so I kind of thought a good kind of jumping in point would be the brand new one, and yeah, maybe I'll discover a bit more of his other stuff if you guys want me to do that. So if you are a HOZIER fan and you want me to do more reactions to him, then make sure to tell me in the comments what albums I should do. But before we get started, if you're new here, then make sure to subscribe to my channel for reactions that really dig into the artistry behind the artist. It's all about the lyrics, it's all about the production. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on my channel, then you can do by following me over on Instagram, Luscent_reacts. That's Luscent, okay? I spelled it differently for a reason. You can also follow me over on TikTok if you want to. Yeah, and if you want to check out what's going on over in my music, then you can head over to the Luscent Music YouTube channel. Yeah, so for all of that stuff, link is in the description. Oh, and if you want to support me even further, you can do over on Patreon, where you can actually watch this video with no edits in any of the songs or anything. Let's go. Make sure to stick around to the end because I will be officially choosing the best song of the album. If you disagree with me, then make sure to leave a comment. People usually leave a top 5, so make sure to put your top 5 in the comments. Okay, so song number 1, Selby Part 1. Gorgeous guitar playing. It's giving me sea shanty vibes. Maybe it's in a Dorian mode. That might be why. I'll turn it down a bit. It's like turned it up because it's really quiet.
World is asleep. Lakes of a darkness so deep.
It's very relaxing. Ooh, I love that. It's really subtle synth. Wow. There's a lot of subtlety in the production, which I really appreciate.
The bliss of not knowing yourself.
Wow.
But still the mind.
This falsetto is so beautiful.
Closer.
There's so much subtlety in the production. I love it. There's so many little details. I love all this kind of like, so cool. Gorgeous. Oh. I know he's not singing in English. I was like, wait a second. He is Irish, right? Really cool. Sounds like it's really setting up. Whoa.
What's your gear?
And then it goes straight into part 2. It's almost like he's kind of split it into like 2, almost like, because that's feels like a big intro in a way, doesn't it? It's like so beautiful and so rich, really setting up a lot of sounds for the album to kind of continue on with. It's really taking us to a place. It's really giving me that kind of story tale, like fairy tale kind of sat in an oak tavern, telling you like kind of setting up the story. It's really giving me that storytelling feel. And that last bit was in Irish, right? At last, when all the world is asleep, you take in the blackness of the air, the likes of a darkness so deep that God at the start couldn't bear, and sit unseen with only the inner upheld. Your reflection can't offer a word to the bliss of not knowing yourself when all mirroring gone from the world. He's talking about like, almost like the beauty in silence, the beauty in darkness. Nobody can see you. It's like you can take your mask off and not have to pretend that you know everything. Still the mind rejecting this new empty space fills it with something or someone. No closer could I be to God or why he would do what he's done. So he's not saying he has the answers. He's rejecting the empty space. It's like when you try and sit still and meditate, your mind still goes to other places. It's not like I'm, meditating with, complete closeness to God, or like, like maybe like equivalent to like Buddhism. My brain is still everywhere. and I'm still questioning everything. I'm gonna guess it's in Gaelic. Yeah, it is in Gaelic. Although you're bright and light, you arrive to me like nightfall. You come like nightfall. You and I sort of mix together. You and I metamorphosized. Okay, interesting. So metamorphosis, changing, discovering yourself in the silence. Okay, this is De Selby Part 2.
What you're giving,
Okay, a bit more of a rock vibe.
doing your heart love,
There's almost like a psychedelic rock thing to it. I love the drums.
I wanna lose me.
Nice. I love the kind of complexity. There's like so many different elements of the song all playing with one another. Vocal, backing vocals, guitar. Ooh.
When you fall,
Nice. And then it goes.
to be so far from,
And there's that vocal, huh?
wanna kill the light.
Wow. Nice. Oh my god. So there's stuff about darkness again, about running away. Nice. I want to lose me, I want to fade away. So there is a sense of like being able to escape into the darkness, you know? I love that movement. It's so cool because it builds up so much tension through this like interplay of all these different things. Oh my god. And then it just goes. I love the mixture of like real expensive sounding instruments, but also like synthetic elements too. I also love the drama in it. It's really cool. I kind of feel like so much music recently has been very minimalist, and what I'm really appreciating so far is there isn't that in this. It's all very complex and there's lots of depth to the production, you know? Cool. That was really cool. Much more of a rocky place than I was expecting, but I really love the drama in it. Yeah, and I love all the depth in the production. I love how the different sections really had different feel and the way that they all played with one another. I loved how like it seemed like there was like a guitar that was responding to the vocal, and then the backing vocals were responding to the guitar, and then like the bass was responding to that. It's just like it all kind of felt like this kind of wave of different things all coming in and out, which worked really cool, built up so much tension, and then went straight into that like the bit where it reframed his vocal. It was like just really effective production and songwriting. What you're given, what you live in, darling, it finds a way to live in you. And your heart, love, has such darkness. I feel it in the corners of the room. It's almost like a sense of like not being able to escape the place of your birth, and maybe the darkness that you kind of had as a child threatening your kind of adult life. If I fade away, let me fade away. I want to fade away with you. Want to be when you fall on me like night every time. And I want to be so far from sight and mind, I want to kill the lights. There's a sense of like trying to outrun your own demons, I think, but like running into the darkness because there's a freedom in the darkness, in a similar way to the first song where he was talking about the silence and the darkness kind of giving meditation. This is kind of that as well. It's like an escape. I want to run against the world that's turning. I move so fast that I'd outpace the dawn, block the sun if you want it done. So there's a sense of like another person that he's like connecting to as well. Maybe he wants to run away with them. Next song, this is First Time. Ooh. I'm getting Stevie Wonder immediately. It's certainly got some kind of 70s references, you know.
My name is such an awful sound. As a river undiscovered underground.
Okay.
They've been softer on my stomach, all the same. Never shall be unearthed without a name.
The reverb and using the amps and stuff that are used really gives it that kind of classic 70s thing.
Flowers that were left here by my mother. Ain't that like this leaf flip mostly underground?
Okay, so this is actually connecting to the album cover, right? Like a sense of being underground and breaking through, right? More about darkness. Seems to be a real key theme, right? Blooming, being a flower in the ground, growing from the earth.
Each time that you call me baby.
really loving the imagery and stuff I'm picking up on so far.
Are there limits to any emptiness?
Wow.
Was the last time most of the
You can tell there's so much depth in every lyric.
but some part of me came alive, called me baby.
Final time. Look, you call me baby. Yeah, okay, so the vibe of that song, it was nice, but like it didn't like super inspire me. But like what I picked up from the imagery and stuff, I'm really starting to understand where he is as an artist. It feels like so much of it's about like the lyricism and the way these themes seem to carry through the different songs and the kind of depth of himself that he's trying to show. Remember once I told about you how before I heard it from your mouth, my name would always hit my ears as such an awful sound. And the soul, if that's what you call it, uneasy ally of the body, it felt nameless as a river undiscovered underground. So it's like he's hearing his own name in someone else's mouth and it's like feeling grating. It's like his relationship with himself is very negative. And he's saying that like his soul within his body, you know, it feels undiscovered. It feels like he hasn't even been able to connect to it because it's so deep, buried underground, you know. The first time you kissed me, I drank dry the river Leith, but you spoke some quick new music that went so far to soothe this soul, as it was and ever shall be, unearth without a name. So it's like his soul was pulled out by this person that he loved, maybe his first love, and how they managed to kind of tease some of his soul out of his body, you know. But still, it's unearthed without a name. It still is like undiscovered, you know. Some part of me must have died the first time you called me baby, and some part of me came alive the first time you called me baby. It's like the way in which loving someone can change you. He says, I think I owe my life to flowers that were left here by my mother. This life lived mostly underground, unknowing either sight or sound, till reaching up for sunlight just to be ripped out by the stem. Maybe it feels as if like growing up, maybe he didn't have a mother figure, or like feels like he lacked that in some way. I'm not sure whether his mum died. Like that's the imagery is like flowers on a grave, like the flowers that were left here. Maybe she didn't die. I'm not sure what that is, but there's something to do with like he kind of feels like he wasn't prepared for life, like the flowers of his soul were plucked. You know, some part of me must have died the final time you called me baby. Some part of me came alive the final time you called me. So after they broke up, I love that contrast, the first time and the final time, because it's like, you know, you changed me. As soon as I met you, something changed within me. So some old part of me started to die and some new part of me started to come alive. After you left that mark on me again. But maybe because it could be seen in a slightly different kind of context, in a sadder way. It's very gorgeous. Like the lyricism is just really, really well thought out. It's really clever. Okay, next song. This is Francesca.
Do you think I'd give up the love from me? Darling, I'd scare so
Oh, chords.
that it's done
Wow.
since I was born.
My life was a storm since I was born. Ugh. Gorgeous. Yeah, wow. God, his voice is so magnificent. Yeah. Okay, so we're going full on rock this time. Oh, the chords. I go through it again. Ugh. Oh, that chord there is just so good. Unexpected and really takes you by surprise. It's just like gorgeous and uplifting. It's so beautiful, like the subtlety in that, because there's melancholy in it too, you know.
What good would it be on the far side of things when that part of you was ripped away?
Yeah. I feel like we're continuing this journey of self-discovery, which is at this moment is linked to this first love, you know, presumably Francesca.
Put me back in it.
I love that. There's something so powerful about the combination of chords and the simple melody and saying I would do anything. Yeah. Wow. Has the pace changed? Tempo's changed. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, that's giving me chills. That last section was so powerful, to like change the tempo down, kind of let it just go, you know, really just, that was gorgeous. I loved the outro on that. That was just so unexpected and like really moving, astonishing. Oh God, that was beautiful. I loved that. I think like the beauty really comes from sitting on that kind of place between adoration and loss, and like that kind of feeling of like being caught between loving someone but having to have said goodbye to them. It's like you're still feeling that love, but then they're not there constantly. It's that, and it's that kind of to and fro, and you're sitting like right in between, and that song feels like it just sits there. It's beautiful. Yeah, I loved that. Do you think I'd give up? That this might have shook the love from me? Or that I was on the brink? How could you think, darling, I'd scare so easily? Now that it's done, there's not one thing I would change. My life was a storm since I was born. How could I fear any hurricane? So there's a sense of like, I am putting together that like maybe like his childhood was messy, and that like this whole thing, like I've been trapped underground and like I haven't developed fully, and now I'm thrown out into this adult world and I'm not prepared. That's what it felt like before. But with this, he's kind of saying, actually, in some ways I am prepared because I've had to deal with so much shit throughout childhood. He's like, I've already been abandoned, so how could you abandoning me come as a surprise? It's really dark. And tell them, put me back in it. Darling, I would do it again if I could hold you for a minute. Darling, I'd go through it again. So the pain and this hurricane of their relationship, like, even though it kind of came to the end, it really did break down in a not so nice way. He's like, I don't care, I'd go straight back into it. I would put myself through that again just to be able to hold you for another minute. Oh my God, that's beautiful. I would still be surprised I could find you, darling, in any life. Oh, that's so gorgeous. To be surprised that you've actually been able to find someone like that is like so gorgeous. When that part of you was ripped away, a grip taking hold like a cancer that grows each part of your body that it takes. Though I know my heart would break, I'd tell them put me back in it. Maybe like a family member of hers died and he had to kind of then help her with her emotions, and it kind of ended up in them breaking up maybe. And he's like, I would do it all again. Heaven is not fit to house a love like you and I. It's actually beautiful. Like I was not expecting, like I feel like Take Me to Church obviously was like the hit that really took off. I never really understood the lyrics because I always felt like they were a little bit too kind of untouchable in a way. To be fair, like I heard it all mostly on the radio and stuff. I never really sat down and properly analysed it. But what I'm hearing here is something so deep and so poetic and so nuanced and so truthful, like real soul digging stuff. And then paired with the musical side of it, it's just absolutely just like beautiful. It's really great. I'm really loving this. Let's go straight on. This is Carrion, Icarian. Don't know what that means.
If the wind turns
Acapella.
to find its brutal way to me.
I'm hearing more of the Irish roots. There are certain words where you can hear his accent, and also certain like musical things that feel very Irish. The storytelling and the guitar. That's kind of, you know, very typical of Irish folk music, isn't it? He sounds so Irish in this one.
And though I burn, how could I fall? I am lifted by every word you say to me. The world that falls away from me.
Wow. This really is giving me like really tapping into Irish folk music, but it's kind of expanding it. Like I love all this extra textual stuff.
It was you all the way down.
Beautiful.
Don't fall away.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I do not
That lyric. Oh.
to find its brutal way to me.
The strings have really overtaken the guitar now, and the chords are just so lush and beautiful.
Don't fall away from me.
Oh, beautiful. Oh my God, but so sad. If we fall, I pray that day, if we fall, don't fall away from me. Like, hopefully we can fall together. It's so like, the imagery is so strong in the way that I can just see the two of them falling off a cliff and just like him like reaching out for her, you know. It's like, oh my God, can't cope. This is really wonderful. If the wind turns, fighting a squall, allow the ground to find its brutal way to me. So there's a sense of falling, right? All our weight is just a burden offered to us by the world. So there's a sense of like the world physically giving you gravity and being weightless and being free from that, but emotionally how the world can cause you kind of emotional weight. And now he's feeling that he's in a place where he's kind of up in the air and free from the emotional weight as well. And though I burn, how could I fall when I'm lifted by every word you say to me? And if anything could fall at all, it's the world, and it falls away from me. So there's a sense of him flying up into the air towards the sun. I'm guessing Icarian is like Icarus, presumably. I can see all along, love, it was you all the way down. Even now I'm skybound. If you need to, darling, lean your weight to me. We'll float away, but if we fall, I only pray don't fall away from me. If the wind turns, if I hit a squall, allow the ground to find its brutal way to me. So he's kind of saying, I'm gonna be this Icarus character. I'm gonna let my wings burn because I flew too close to the sun. And the whole metaphor being that her love is lifting him up to those heights, and he's actually implying that, you know, he'll fall to the ground to his death, you know, and so will the love, you know. It's like so beautiful. Like the lyrics are just incredible. Next song, this is Eat Your Young. Bit dark. Nice. Soul-y. Giving me a bit of Amy Winehouse, huh?
I wanna smell the dinner cooking.
I like the smoothness in this. Nice. That's very dark. This album is really long. I'm only 6 songs in, I've got 10 more. Bloody hell.
Let me see the heat get to you.
Welcome to the meal. It's I wonder if this is like a relationship to your younger self, in a sense. Come and get it. It's interesting imagery, yeah. I love that he has like long outros and stuff that really let you sit with the feeling, you know. Beautiful. Yeah, I love that end section. I must say the rest of the song wasn't really sending me. Like, it's kind of like a kind of smooth jam. Like, I was kind of hoping for something a bit bigger. That's just the kind of listener I am, I guess. I'm starving, darling. Let me put my lips to something. Let me wrap my teeth around the world. Start carving, darling. Ooh. I want to smell the dinner cooking. I want to feel the edges start to burn. Honey, I want to race you to the table. If you hesitate, the getting is gone. I won't lie. There's something to be gained. There's money to be made, whatever's still to come. Get some. Pull up the ladder when the flood comes. It's almost like making the most of shit and leaving everyone else to die. Come and get some. Skinning the children for a war drum. Oh my God. Putting food on the table, selling bombs and guns. It's quicker and easier to eat your young. He's kind of saying, like, the world is so fucked. You may as well just, like, rather than putting your kids out into the world, you may as well just eat them yourself. Jesus. Your dressings start to peel. Oh, that's actually fucking gross. Yeah, like for me, it's like maybe him reflecting on his own childhood and how the world kind of almost, maybe he feels like the world kind of ruined him. And he's saying, like, with this kind of fucked up world, we may as well just bloody, like, save the kids the horror of growing up, you know, in this really, 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 really dark metaphor of, like, setting up the table and, like, oh God, it's really gross. But, like, very clever, incredible wordplay and incredible imagery that's really upsetting. Next song, this is Damage Gets Done with Brandi Carlile. I love Brandi Carlile. Nice.
Without shame,
Oh, okay.
you had nowhere to go. Comforts that make us feel numb.
It's the comforts that make us feel numb.
I would sleep
Nice. Oh, this is really, really nice. Ugh. I love the combination of their voices together. I love this. This is like really giving me like kind of early noughties, like rock ballad thing. I love it. There's something about Brandy's voice that's just, oh. That's not how the damage gets done. It seems to be like almost like a kind of party, almost like going out and partying and like being free and like the kind of healing and letting go. Oh. Oh, beautiful harmonies. Ugh, the whole wide world felt young. All I ever needed was someone. Beautiful. Oh my god, I really like this. Beautiful. I loved that. That just felt like such an optimistic, like coming together, like a kind of celebration of life, and kind of maybe lamenting maybe not being able to celebrate life before, but finding like a way to celebrate it now. And that was really giving me that, you know, really, really nice. Love all the harmonies. Beautiful. Without shame, 2 outfits then to my name. You'd end up in one when you'd stay. We had nowhere to go and every desire for going there. I heard once it's the comforts that make us feel numb. We'd go out and get with no way to get home. We'd sleep on somebody's floor and wake up feeling like a millionaire. So it's about making yourself uncomfortable and kind of like allowing yourself to go out with no way to get home, and like how much you can learn about yourself in that, you know. I haven't felt it since then. I don't know how the feeling ended, but I know being reckless and young is not how the damage gets done. Yeah. Oh my god. It's basically kind of saying you need to be able to go out and be reckless and have all that great stuff, because contrary to popular thought, going out and being carefree is not actually how you damage yourself. And I think this is still referring to maybe the childhood trauma that he suffered, and the kind of realization that like anything that he could do wouldn't be as bad as that. And it's like, let's just go out and just live the night and have a great time. Really gorgeous. Okay, next song. This is Who We Are.
Only feel it when it's lost. Still has a cause. Just held it tight. Come in time. The war cranes told me late.
Oh. Wow. Oh my god. God, he knows how to utilize his voice, doesn't he? This is the thing, is that like he has that power in his voice, an amazing falsetto and stuff as well, but like he doesn't overuse it, and he sets it up beautifully. His verses kind of always take place in the lower part of his voice and really kind of build tension, you know, so that when it comes out into that like full like big like bah thing, it's so powerful. I'm just surprised with how much he has to offer as not only a vocalist, which I think we all kind of discovered him because of his vocals. Wow. Jesus Christ. Speaking of vocals, shit. But also like as a lyricist, I wasn't like prepared for the depth and the poetry and the beauty. Wow. God, as if like his voice could go all the way up there. And it's so high. And it sounds like his chest voice. I guess it's maybe some kind of mixed register thing.
Only feel it and through still has its cost. Drop by drop.
Wow. Interesting. I really loved that. Particularly the dynamics, the power and the vocal display in that was like really impressive. Amazing. You only feel it when it's lost. Getting through still has a cost. Quietly, it slips through your fingers, love, falling from you drop by drop. Had left here, I just held it tight so someone with your eyes might come in time to hold me like water, or Christ, hold me like a knife. Wow. We're born at night, so much of our lives is just carving through the dark to get so far, and the hardest part is who we are. More of that imagery of like getting through the night, through the darkness. But now, he was chasing the darkness before, but now he feels like he's actually admitting that he's trying to actually carve through it, you know. And I love the connection to the knife and the, yeah. You and I burned out our steam chasing someone else's dream. We gave our time to something undefined. This phantom life, it sharpens like an image, but it sharpens like a knife. There's almost like a kind of like, they put too much pressure on themselves to have a stereotypical relationship, kind of all ended up blowing up. You only feel it when it's lost. Getting through still has a cost. Quietly slips through your fingers, love, falling from you like drop by drop. So it's like he's trying to get through, but it feels like he's losing a sense of himself, you know. And actually he's admitting that like discovering actually who he is at his center might not be quite as good or as easy to digest as he thought. I think he's like starting to discover who he is, and he's starting to realise that there are elements of that he doesn't like, and he's trying to come to terms with that and come to terms with that darkness, you know. Okay, next song, this is Son of Nyx. Nyx being the Greek goddess. I've played Hades. Nyx is Zagreus' mum, right? Can't remember. Anyway. Ooh, God. I love the rawness of that piano. God, the music here. Ooh. Beautiful soundscape. There are feminine sounds in it too, aren't there? So maybe there's a reference to like his own mother again. Maybe if he's the son of Nyx. And wow. God. Fucking beautiful. Wow. He's almost like sampling different elements of his own vocal, isn't he? Wow. This is fucking amazing. Sounds like a movie soundtrack. Wow. Wow. Gorgeous. Oh. Getting experimental here with the production. Shit. It's kind of unnerving. Like, it feels like that it really is a sound piece. I think, to me, it's representing his place as a son, his place as a child, and maybe, like, almost like being born into the world, he was almost at a disadvantage already. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting, in a sense. There's such a beauty to it, though, and a dark, but it's kind of like a beauty with the kind of slightly unnerving darkness, you know, which I think is, yeah, like supposed to represent like the darkness that he's seeing within himself that stems from childhood, you know. Right, let's go on to the next one. This is we're going to Soul again. Nice. I'm obsessed with the cross-section of like this old soul reference with so much more experimentation going on around it. It's really cool. I think he's finding some kind of closure in this, right? Slipping through our hands again, the same imagery. But now it's like, this relationship has ended and I'll just start again and do a new thing, you know? What? Oh, get the gospel choir in. Yes. Love it. It's giving me Stevie. Take me to church. I had to say it, I'm sorry. Fucking beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And like, I love the sense of just relinquishing control, you know, all things end, whatever, you know, it's, it feels like we've reached a turning point, you know, and maybe he's comes to reckon with his childhood. He's come to reckon with the end of his relationship, and he's like, actually, all things end. I'm just going to move on. And like that kind of sense of healing that he kind of taps into by employing the gospel choir as well. Like, it really does like evoke that feeling of healing, doesn't it? Of letting it go, of like washing it off, you know? Very that, you know, I love it. A two-tone weight around my chest feels like it just dropped to 20-story height. If there's anyone to get through this life with their heart still intact, they didn't do it right. I love that. The last time I felt your weight on my chest, you said, we didn't get it right. But love, we did our best, and we will again. Moving on in time and taking more from everything that ends. Even though everything ended, I can take something from it, and I can begin again and do something more. And there's so much hope in that realization, you know. All that we intend is scrawled in the sand and slips right through our hands. And just knowing that everything will end, we should not change our plans when we begin again. So it's like a sense of like, you don't have control, everything will end, and eventually, you know, you just got to learn to like move on and take the best from things and just continue, you know. Yeah, it's so healing and so freeing. Really gorgeous, love it. Such a healing song, like, especially since we've gone through a lot of darkness, you know. Okay, next song. This is To Someone from a Warm Climate.
Joy, hard learn, the warming of the bed for minutes there. Blanket over you and keep your head. Your breath heat the air until you'd feel it getting thin. Feel of coldness only water bring. Come now
Voice.
as a dream. Know that you were in my dreaming. To share.
Wow.
It came easy, darling. Another leg around you in the bed frame. The awful things we do to make the head go quiet.
Wow. This is just so wonderful.
Winds of winter seem to never leave the wall.
Oh, his voice is just beautiful. It really feels like he's finding beauty in the natural things, like the instinctual things, you know, things that nobody teaches you, the things you just feel. All my dreaming was always put to shame. Gorgeous. Oh my god.
There's another leg around you in the bed frame.
God, simply fucking beautiful. He just knows when to like let his voice just completely shine through, and that was so moving. The performance of that was just gorgeous, and like, oh my god. And I love all the imagery. I love the beauty in getting into being cold and getting into a bed and warming it up and seeing your breath in the air, and the kind of like, you know, to someone from a warm climate, they may not understand that, you know, the beauty in that. And it's a gorgeous feeling. But then he, on the other side, he says, the feeling of cold water on you, cooling you down, is also so satisfying. And it feels like he's finding so much beauty in just like instinctual feeling of letting go of control and being able to just be in the moment, you know. It's really like he's come to this place of understanding and freedom, you know. I love this progression. Yeah. A joy hard learned in winter was the warming of the bed. You shake for minutes there and move your legs, wrap the blanket over you and keep your head within. Let your breath heat the air until you'd feel it getting thin. And then I can't say that. Oh, so in Gaelic, that word means water cooled. Oh, someone from a warm climate would only be able to find pleasant coolness from water. The feel of coldness only water brings. There are some things that no one teaches you, love, that come natural as a dream you didn't know that you were in. But it came easy, darling, as natural as another leg around you in the bed frame. God. And it's like he's admitting that his love for her came as easy as the pleasure of the cool water when you're warm or a warm bed when you're cold, you know, it's like, oh my God, it's really beautiful. Oh my God. Summer's heat, I learned to dread the coming of the night, the awful things we do to make the head go quiet. Oh my God. And I wish I could say that the river of my arms have found the ocean, but it happened easy, darling. Natural as another leg around you. It's just really, really beautiful. It's the simple beauty of like being with someone and being in love and it just feeling so instinctual and so natural. And it really is just so wonderful to, you know, to experience that. And I feel like I'm experiencing it for the first time in my life, and I'm 30 years old, you know, and I'm experiencing it now. But it just feels so moving, you know, to be able to connect to lyrics like that now. It's fucking amazing. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, next song, this is Butchered Tongue. Again, we're getting sad again, and we're talking about the mouth and stuff. Let's not. Ugh.
As a child, it was the place name in every corner of itself.
Wow.
Bikina like Guibara, promise softly sung of somewhere else. And as a young man, blessed to pass so many roads.
He's really embracing his accent, isn't he? I feel that's very specific as well, because it seems like he's really talking about like his like relationship with his childhood and his home. Yeah. Wow. The strings.
Without scalp in the shattered bedrock of our home.
Wow. Oh my God.
The distance has been shown between what is lost forever and what can still be known. Far no translator left to sound a butchered tongue still singing.
Oh my God. It feels like he's connecting to his home, and like as much as like he has very mixed feelings about it, it's like a reconnection, you know. There's kind of a soul thing there. Oh my God, that was it. Oh my God, that was it. Oh, that was so wonderful. It felt like he really like, it's just like finding something extremely deep within himself and discovering that. It's very moving to hear. As a child, it was the place names singing at me as the first thing. How the mouth must be employed in every corner of itself. And okay, so here are the Gaelic words that he's struggling to say as a child. And as a young man blessed to pass so many road signs. Wow. And have my foreign ear made fresh again on each unlikely sound, but feel at home hearing a music that few still understand. So it's really about his connection to Gaelic, which I feel like has been dropped in throughout the album. There's been little references and little moments that were in Gaelic, and it's almost like he's rediscovering and finding pride in his heritage. I don't know, there's something so powerful about that. The ears were chopped from young men if the pitch cap didn't kill them. They are buried without scalp in the shattered bedrock of our home. And you may never know your fortune until the distance has been shown between what is lost forever and what can still be known. Fucking hell. So far from home to have a stranger call you darling, and have your guarded heart be lifted like a child up by the hand in some town that just means home to them, with no translator left to sound a butchered tongue still singing here above the ground. Maybe he's reflecting on how Irish culture was butchered as it was in history by the English. The history of Ireland, obviously, to this day is still broken by what happened in there 400, 500, 600 years ago. Since then, you know, he's connecting to his heritage and being all around the world and seeing these road signs and seeing other Irish people and kind of connecting to them and like having this sense of home, this sense of pride, and being able to connect with these people despite the fact that they've tongue, their language was butchered, to still be able to find elements of that even all around the world fills him with pride, you know, and connects him to home. And it's really beautiful and really tragic to kind of really like ponder the kind of tragedy of Irish history and really get emotional. But the fact that like the power of this language just has so much power within him that he can write something so beautiful that really is like, you know, connecting with that despite the tragedy, you know. It's really wonderful. I was not ready to cry today. It's really gorgeous. But I think what I love even more is that like up until this point, he has been reclaiming his Irish, his Gaelic heritage, like throughout it. It kind of all comes together there, you know? Oh, wonderful. Okay, next song, this is Anything But. Cool, beautiful.
I wish I was a Mayfly on the river Tay.
Love this.
I'd settle for a shopping trolley in the Liffey.
Rivers, right? Yeah. Connecting to water. He was talking about this before, the cool, fresh water. I love the continuation of all these metaphors that carry on through. It's really masterful. Wow. I love this. I just love how the poetry of I want to be the mayfly over the River Thames. I want to be the sunlight on the water of the Mississippi. Myself for a trolley dumped in the river. It's just like, there's humour, but so much poetry and beauty to it. God, that place in his voice is like a completely different register. Unless, of course, he's just employed a female to sing those bits. Doesn't sound like, it sounds like it is him, though. Gorgeous. Yeah, I really love that. That, again, like, sonically seems to be referencing Irish folk music again. But that one felt like a kind of lovely, beautiful, kind of celebratory expression of some of those sounds, you know. I wish I was the sunlight just sitting on the Mississippi. I'd settle for a shop and trolley in the Liffey. In a shot, I'd swap my body for a body of water. I'd lower the world in a flood, or better yet, I'd cause a drought. If I was riptide, I wouldn't take you out. I don't want to be anything, but I would do anything just to run away. I don't want to be anything like this at all, but I would do anything if you'd hear me say, go look another way. I just love all the references to water, to the rain, to the sea, to the river. I want to be a shadow when my bright future's behind me. I want to be the last thing anybody ever sees. I hear he touches your hand, then you fly away together. If I had his job, you would live forever. Aww. So it does feel like he's still so in love with this person and still wishing for some kind of like escape in a way. Yeah. Okay. Next song. This is Abstract, Psychopomp.
Sometimes it returns like rain that you slept through. I will not be great, but I'm grateful to get through. Your hand in my pocket to keep us both warm. See how it's said.
Wow.
See how it's said.
Gorgeous.
Sometimes I go, but it comes to know when I look back through it.
I'm spending a lot of this reaction just like so in it, you know?
I'd no choice but to love you.
Yeah.
The creature's still moving. See how it's said.
Yeah, wow. See how it changed. See how it shines. There seems like such a kind of like feeling of like catharsis here. It's sad, but it feels like he's moving on with kind of optimism, you know?
Trapped within an abstract from a moment of my life. Oh, my love and terror balanced there between those eyes. How it shines. How it shines.
Gorgeous. Oh my God. Really gorgeous. God, he's just such a powerful artist. Like, yeah, I'm so happy that I decided to do this album because it's been wonderful. It's been so beautiful. Sometimes it returns like rain you slept through, the worst of the world, the streets looking brand new. I will not be great, but I'm grateful to get through. The feeling came late, I'm still glad I met you. It's like the feeling's taken a long time to come, but I'm glad that I met you now. Yeah, the memory hurts but does me no harm. Your hand in my pocket to keep us both warm. The poor thing in the road, its eye still glistening, cold wet of your nose. The earth from a distance, see how it shines. Really, he's seeing the beauty, I think, in their relationship. And although the memories still hurt, it's not harming him. He's seeing like the beauty that he had, and actually that beauty is still there within his memory, you know. See how it shines, you know. He was still benefited from this. He's still better off on the other side, even though it hurts. I remember the view, streetlights in the dark blue, the moment I knew I had no choice but to love you. It's really, really beautiful. The speed that you move, the screech of the cars, the creature still moving that slowed in your arms. So obviously there was a dog or something got hit by a car, and it's a memory that stuck with him. And maybe like in that moment, he saw her reaction and was like, oh, that's beautiful. Your tear caught the light that earths from a distance, and he just sees so much beauty in this memory. And even though it's quite dark, but I think like the poetry in it is that like the animal died, like obviously it had a short life and would have lived like as with instinct in the moment. And I think that's what he's connecting to, is that like although their relationship maybe is a metaphor for this animal dying in the road, there was still beauty in it, and there was still beauty even in that darkness and that sadness, and that's what he's learning. And it's so wonderful to kind of see it drip through all these different metaphors. It's just astonishing, the lyricism. Poetry at so many levels. I just love it. Okay, next song is called Unknown/Nth. Some kind of exponential. I did maths. Gorgeous guitar. Oh my god. Beautiful.
You know the distance never made a difference to me. Ignore the vastness between all that can be seen. And all that like an angel.
Gorgeous.
Funny how true colors shine in darkness and in secrecy. Where a blinding light shone on you every night. Even like an angel to me.
Gorgeous.
It ain't the empty home, baby. So much of the living love is the piano no.
Yeah, wow. Gorgeous.
You called me.
It's really finding, I think, beauty in the way things are impermanent, you know. Ugh. Sorry, I'm not saying much in this one. I'm just like totally lost in it.
And there are some people, love, who are better unknown.
I wonder what that sound is right at the end. Huh. I really got lost in that one. I just had a thought though. I just want to write it down. Give me just a second. Sorry. Yeah, I just had a thought of like something just really just connected with me emotionally there, and I was like, there's a lyric in there that I just popped into my head, and I was like, I need to write that down. That was just really just so beautiful, and I'm sorry I didn't really react much. I was honestly just so in it. I was like, it just took me to another place. I think that's like sometimes like with these reactions is that I can't help but like just be like off somewhere else. So apologies for that. You know, the distance never made a difference to me. I swam a lake of fire, so more of the lakes and the rivers and stuff. I'd have walked across the floor of any sea, ignored the vastness between all that can be seen and all that we believe. So I thought you were like an angel to me. So he's now like realising things and putting things into perspective a bit more. Funny how true colours shine in darkness and in secrecy. So talk about the darkness again, right? But the true colours coming through. If they were scarlet flags, like red flags, they washed out in the mind of me, where a blinding light shone on you every night, and either side of my sleep, where you were held frozen like an angel to me. That imagery of the angel as well. There's so many things that have like gone through this whole album, which is so beautiful. The darkness and the light, the angel flying above the earth and underground, the lakes, the water, you know, the metaphors and things that just drip feed their way throughout the whole thing. It's amazing. It ain't being alone, it ain't the empty home. You know, I'm good on my own. You know, it's more than being unknown. So much of living love is the being unknown. So he's again like saying, I'm better for having known you. It's better than like just not knowing. You called me angel for the first time, my heart leapt from me. You smile now, I can see its pieces still stuck in your teeth. There's a lot of imagery with the mouth. Do you know I could break beneath the weight of the goodness, love I still carry for you? That I walked so far just to take the injury of finally knowing you. Wow. It does feel like he settled and managed to accept it. You know, he still carries this weight of love for her, referring to each other as angel, and the Icarus imagery and all that kind of stuff is so amazing as well. Like, God, it just works on so many levels. Okay, before we go on to the final song, if you like this reaction, then make sure to subscribe and make sure to like this video. Make sure to comment what your favourite songs are. And here is a shout out to all of my Patreons. So these guys will sponsor me over on Patreon, and their names are all coming up now. They also get their videos unedited. They get them like ahead of time. And they also, in the upper tiers, get to actually request specific song, artist or album reactions from me. So yeah, so if you want to explore more of what I have to offer over on Patreon, then you can do. The link is in the description. Thanks. Okay, final song of this bloody emotional roller coaster. This is First Light. More about light. At the beginning he was walking through the darkness, he was coming out of the ground, and now he's seeing the first light. I'm like, it's just perfect. Gorgeous.
Your eyes open at first, 1,000 miles away.
I love all the textures here, the way all these things are built up. It's gorgeous. Ah. Wow. That chord sounds like the new light, doesn't it? Wow. There's a sense of unknown to this. It's like that chord is like the light shining through the cracks, isn't it? It's just visceral.
Before the first light.
Wow. Oh, chills. This is so powerful. It's like a new life, discovering a new life and moving on, isn't it? Changed. Wow. He's really just like accepting all of the darkness that was his life and how he's kind of gone through loads of pain to get here, but he's never going back now. It's like a new frontier for him. And it's beautifully represented in the music.
Before the first light.
Oh, it's fucking epic, isn't it? What a fucking epic finale as well. Like, this is just perfection. It's amazing. Oh my God. Amazing. Oh my God, that's amazing. Phenomenal final song. So powerful. It just like, the heights that flew to were just absolutely beautiful. That kind of first chorus section that had that chord in it that was really like gave me that the first light that sounded like the first light, the light breaking through the clouds, you know, and then like to then move into that big vocal section that was like this big choral moment that was so powerful, and he really sat on that at the end and really just let it sit in. You know, it's like, this is the finale. We are just gonna sit in the grandeur of this thing I've discovered within myself, and then for it to kind of like come down to that acoustic guitar. And like the acoustic guitar for me is the reference to home, you know, and the folk music and all that kind of stuff. And to end on that is really poignant and really just kind of come down from that height to that like small place. It's like the comparison of big and small, the fact that something feels so big, but it's actually kind of, he's just one man, you know, and it's like just poetry. It's phenomenal. Oh my God. And like the power of that imagery, to have been in the darkness and to be referencing the darkness, carving through the darkness, under the earth, trying to push through, all this time, and then for the final song to be this beautiful song that's about the dawn, the first light, like, and the light coming through and beginning your life again, and despite all the hard shit, being able to kind of find that optimism. It's just fucking insanely powerful, and like perfectly brings together like the biggest theme of the album for me, which is darkness and light, you know. One bright morning changes all things, soft and easy as you're breathing. You wake, your eyes open at first 1,000 miles away, and I can scarce believe what I'm believing in. Could this be how every day begins? It's like, oh shit, I'm happy. The sky's set to burst, the gold and the rust, the colour erupts, you filling my cup, the sun coming up. So it is actually the literal beauty in a dawn, and actually kind of seeing the beauty in nature, something that he was connected to on the song for the Warm Climate People song, you know. I lived my whole life before the first light. He's lived his whole life in darkness, and now he's just realising natural beauty. Just insane. Honestly, this album is one of the most moving things I've heard. Like, and just the level of the poetry is just next level. It is insane. Like, and the fact that he like builds in all these metaphors throughout the early songs that kind of like bring so much kind of visceral energy to them, and so much darkness and so much heaviness, and then in that comparison later on you feel so free, because he's talking about, you know, he's talking about the earth and the sky, he's talking about darkness, being under the ground and trying to break through but not being able to. He even talks about like people in his hometown being buried under the ground, like all these different things, all these different references, the connection to water, the connection to nature, the connection to the flowers pushing through, like there's all these kinds of connections to nature, darkness, light, flowers need light to grow, all these levels, and like it just all builds and builds and builds and builds throughout this entire huge beautiful picture of lyricism and poetry, and it all just comes together in like these last like few songs in just the most perfect way. It's just absolutely astonishingly beautiful, and like the music kind of like follows these lyrics and really paints that picture even more fully. And then on top of that, his voice is just phenomenal and brings so much power and emotion. It's just next level. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I loved it. Okay, so this brings me on to what I think the best song in the album is, and for me, the one that just brings it all together, I mean, I could say First Light, but the one that really just got me was Butcher Tongue. I feel like that's the best song because of just the poignancy and the tragedy, and it's very brief, but just like, for me, just connects to something so powerful that goes back hundreds of years and is kind of him retaking his culture in a way that feels so healing, especially when you think of like all the self-discovery. It just, for me, just felt so poignant and so wonderful and just so moving. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can click here, and if you want to check out my music, you can click here.